Shalom Akim, Yabashim Al Shai, Barakatam, Ba'ashem Kwakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, as well as the sincere Akim, doing the work of Yabashim Al Shai in all diligence and sincerity, because, it's important just to keep up with current events in your local neighborhood, So I got a article here, addressing the issue between the nation of Israel and the nation of Edom. This idea of a struggle between the Amalekites, the nation of Edom, and then you have the southern kingdom of Judah has been heating up in D.C. You got a D.C. councilman for Ward 8, Trayon White, put him back in the spotlight again after a Jake in the Nation of Islam, showed up to a rally, spoke on the megaphone that Ephraimite was holding, and things went, things went in the funny direction, but we all know it's the power of Yahweh Shimei Shai, because it's not going to let this topic go to the wayside, man, because that contention is going to heat up, because Jake is waking up, and then it's going to get so messed up, man, that folks going to be angry. It's going to get physical. It's going to get physical in D.C. Because you know how Jakes get, when Jake is amped up and bugged out, So it's one of those things that's going to happen. The race war, the civil war, it's going to be messed up. So here it says D.C. Council member Elisa Silverman, independent at large, on Friday called for the ouster of a mayoral appointee who organized a rally outside district headquarters where a Nation of Islam representative blasted her as a fake Jew. All right, so that's basically the point. But if you read the whole article, you can go online and look at it. It's getting heated up, man. These Amalekites are not sleeping easy because they've been thrust out there to the forefront. Things Edomites will not dare say. Jake is just saying it. And there are many people that think along those lines, man. That pull the rug from underneath the Amalekites, man. Because folks know that the Amalekites basically run D.C. They run America, they run the world, because there's a lot that the Most High has given to them, man. They don't really want to admit it. They like to pretend as if they're just some little humble mom and pop operation, but that's not the way the Most High has set it up for them. They were meant to rule the world with an iron fist, by using America as the world police. And they have the policies, through their financial institutions to make and break nations, man. They send out the economic hitmen to turn things upside down around the world. And that's exactly what we're seeing so far. So I'm going to play the video. Hopefully Akim, pick up on this.
Show of support for embattled D.C. Ward 8 Councilman Trayon White. Trayon White.
When people sincerely apologize and are trying to redeem themselves, we need to believe them.
Most speakers wanted to draw attention to what White has accomplished for his constituents.
It takes a lot for leaders from east of the river to come to this building and represent the people.
But toward the end of what was described as a unity rally, a supporter of controversial Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan took the bullhorn. Farrakhan once claimed powerful Jews were his enemy. This man's words were just as shocking.
What is the fake Jews that call themselves Jews? The ADL or the JDF?
After that question, he set his sights on D.C. Councilwoman Elisa Silverman. She released a statement last week saying Farrakhan's anti-Semitic rhetoric should not be tolerated.
Well, it's all prophecy. The Messiah is going to stir up that enmity between the nation of Edom and the nation of Israel, because the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans They are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. The elites know it. You know, the so-called, peons in high places that know it, but they can't really talk about it. Otherwise, you find them chopped up somewhere, man. Sleeping in a ditch. Passing away in a dead bed somewhere. So that's how bad it's getting, among these officials, man. Because that struggle for the birthright is real. When the men of the Lord go out there on the highways and byways, it's basically the Most High pulling down strongholds. And that's exactly what's happening here. You have the Ephraimites on the other side, and you have the Judite on the other side. One is into government politics, the other one is into so-called Islam and so-called public policy. But at the end of the day, man, it's just that lets you know that the Messiah is going to bring the nation of Israel back together, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And these Amalekites don't want that. They'll call for an official to step down, an official to quit, with immediate effect. They won't rest until they get what they want. But that's not going to be happening anytime soon, because the Messiah is going to thwart their plan, for the new world order. So I'll play this video and I'll bring out some precepts.
Unorganized marches on against, or matter of fact, protest against Elisa Silverman. These is Farrakhan's work. You got your nerve to say Farrakhan can't come back to D.C. What nerve are you fake Jew?
White's connection to the Nation of Islam has been heavily scrutinized. Just last week, we learned he made a $500 donation to the group in January.
The reality is that these brothers are on the front line fighting for some of the same causes I fight for.
But White did not attend this rally, and this man speaking wasn't part of the plan. The organizer tried to pull him away.
I can't speak on their behalf, but, we all came here today in the spirit of solidarity and peace.
So there's no peace, man. There's never going to be peace between the nation of Edom and the nation of Israel. If you go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, I'll pull it up real quick. But let me just start from Genesis, the 25th. Alright, so it says, from verse 21, Genesis 25 and 21, and Isaac entreated the Lord Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord Yahweh. And the Lord Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Okay. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. So the Edomites, consisting of the Amalekites and the other nations of Edom, they will be servants to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, again, the kingdom of heaven. But at this point in time, the Amalekites, the nation of Edom, are in rulership. So, and this is verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So that's the progenitor of the Edomite race, the nation of the Amalekites, the so-called Jewish people. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Alright, so that lets you know, man, that's all prophecy. And then if you go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, let me just start from 15, somewhere in the middle. Alright, verse 15. Okay, verse 15 says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Alright, so that enmity between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman, it's real, so the serpent is basically referring to the nation of Edom, the so-called Caucasian race, and the seed of the woman, which is the nation of Israel, and the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, spread out throughout the four corners of the earth. So it's how the prophecy of the Messiah is playing out, man. The Messiah is a director, so I played it. Let's look at the word for slander. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is Psalms chapter 50, verse 20. Okay, let's see. Let's start from verse 16. Psalm chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked the power, Elohim said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take up my covenant in thy mouth? Because this was the Amalekites, man. They always want to say they're of the nation of Israel, that the God's chosen people. But yet the whole world is in turmoil, man. It's crazy how the world is experiencing so much disaster and so much trouble. And then you have the so-called people that claim to be a peaceful nation. They're always behind every disaster, that shakes the world, just like Barrows, when you watch the history of the so-called Rothschilds on video, the mother was saying that if her sons don't want war, there'll be no war. So that lets you know, man, how the Messiah sets things up for these Edomites, man. The spirit within them is a spirit of war. Warring against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Warring against Ishmael, warring against Ham, warring against Japheth, Moab, and Ammon. So, they're the most destructive nation upon the face of the earth. That's the blessing the Most High has given them, And then verse 17 says, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my word behind thee. Alright, when thou sawest a thief, thou consentest with him, and has been a partaker with adulterers. So, whenever Jake was catching hell on captivity, the Edomites they were always there to further their affliction. If you look at the book of Esther, it lets you know how much disdain the Edomites, had for the nation of Israel. Alright, and then verse 19 says, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. So these Amalekites, man, they enjoy lying, they don't care about the damage that they cause, as long as it's beneficial to them, And then you have the publications they put out there, just like the protocols of the land elders of Zion. They have the propaganda to stir up strife, among Ishmael. They have the agents everywhere, and they have their lackeys, or what you call psionims, in their in government positions, whether it's in NATO, Africa, the Middle East, America. They do whatever they can, man, to make sure that their influence is felt. But at the same time, they wouldn't want to step to the forefront and claim they run the show, but they always like to joke about it. But at the end of the day, it's all the power of Yahweh Shai that's being revealed on the left-hand side, and the Amalekites, once they realize that their time is up, their dominion, their dispensation of rulership is coming to an end, they are upset, man, they're upset, and they will do everything within their might, to come against the men of the Lord. All right, and this is verse 21. This thing hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou toughtest that I was altogether as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So, the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Most High is going to purify them, man, in the time of Jacob's trouble, when all hell breaks loose, when the armed, government dogs are chasing after Jake, tearing up neighborhoods, gunning people down the streets, stabbing people. It's going to be evident, man, that the Most High will show His power when that level of incidents reaches that level. See when it reaches that critical mass. All right. So just because the Most High, says it kept silent, doesn't mean the Most High is not going to take any action. Like they always say, they always confuse silence for foolishness. So they always think that the Most High is on their side, but He is not. Right. So these Amalekites to do everything, man, to damage, the life of Jake, So, Kahal Yabashim Shah Shem Dash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Alright. And the Akia, man, stay faithful, stay humble. It's a tough journey. You just gotta learn that dealing with the Amalekites, it's a spiritual experience. It's a spiritual approach. You can't get carnal with them because their blessing is the sword. You can't stoop to their level. So just let the Most High give them enough rope to hang themselves. Because at the end of the day, we're always going to have that victory through Yahweh Shai. So brothers just got to be faithful, stay humble, speak out of the scriptures, man. They can't really, come against the scriptures, with their false doctrine because the scriptures always come up on top. But when folks try to get carnal, it's gonna create unnecessary headaches. So brothers just gotta stay spiritual. Let them Yahweh Shema Shai, be in the spotlight. We're not here to take credit for anything. Just be a vessel unto honor. Let the word of Yahweh Shema Shai have its course. Shalom.